is that?
I'll actually put another one out there because I think it's instructive. I at one point took a job that I absolutely despised for an entire year because I knew I spent most of my early career, running R&D for a product company. Right? That's where I came up, one of the security vulnerability management vendors. And I had spent a lot of time on the product vendor side of the world. I had been a consultant, then I had been in a product company, and I knew if I really wanted to advance my career, I had to spend some time as a customer. I had to, if I really wanted to get it, and I knew I wanted to run my own businesses at some point, I knew that was my plan. If I really wanted to get, why does a sales cycle take 9 months sometimes? Why, what are the internal problems? I had to go live that for a long time. And that was the most frustrating year of my life.
It's like method acting.
It really is. Yeah, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. And
I introduced Mike to that job.
Lee actually did. It's the one time he and I worked together.
In all offense, in all honesty, though, the chief security officer who directly hired Mike, who they were like kindred spirits, he actually left his job basically like 3 weeks after Mike started, and that was unbeknownst to me.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
That was weird. But anyhow.
But the point is, sometimes an investment is the next job you take. That was a detour on my career path that I knew precisely what I wanted to get out of it, and I knew what I was sacrificing. It was not a fun year. So there's a question over here.
Okay, good, because we only have like 5 minutes.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
We'll get these two in for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Not really so much of a question, but in terms of your investment, this is going back to time and to your point. One of the things that I have found to be a significant advantage of is internal or external. If you can find a committee, like with what you were just talking about on Cloud Security Audit Committee, what's generally going to happen is you're going to now be at a peer level with individuals that line item-wise are going to be considerably higher than you. So you, by direct correlation, you're getting basically free marketing for yourself. You're creating a network, and you're also enhancing your skills, not only in terms of understanding, this scenario, cloud computing, but also what are the heartaches that those other peers realize that they had to have a gap filled somehow, some way.
I always quote from Tom Peters and say that cool friends equals cool you. Your personal brand is the people you know. Ultimately, you are known by the people you associate with. So if you, there's all this work that shows the impact of social networks on personal development. You're likely to weigh similar to what your friends weigh. You make similar money to what your friends make, and changes in your social status change you very effectively. And there's whole bodies of research that I could spend hours on, but I won't. What's really interesting is if you want to be a great pen tester, go become best friends with 5 great pen testers. It rubs off by osmosis. And so as part of your investment, as part of career investment, who do you want to be friends with? Who do you want to hang out with is part of that conversation.
I think we have time for 1 or 2 more questions.
As somebody who does recruiting and I'm somebody who's a young professional, I've been working for less than 5 years. Have you noticed any trends as far as age-wise or otherwise as far as retainment within a company?
I mean retention about
retention as an employee within a company in this industry?
Well, I think that's very individual, right? I mean, as far as trends are concerned, I think the company, different people get bored quicker than others. Different organizations have baked in learning opportunities than others do. I think that the most important thing that you can do early in your career is find a place that will give you the ability to learn, that will give you access and give you ability to maximize your value. I think that if you put yourself in a place that's not enabling you to do that and you've really tried to do those things, then I think that you can take your experience and try to find an environment like that. But I think that you have to really, I think you always, if you're ever in a job, right, I think the golden rule is that you should never leave a job until you actually accomplish something. I had this guy that we had placed like a while back. We placed him at a really large financial services firm, and then he became the chief security officer of a online retailer. And he called me up the other day, and he said, Lee, it's time for my new thing. And I said, okay. I said, well, how long have you been there? I said, you just left recently. He said, well, it's been about half a year. I said, 6 months? He said, well, actually 7. And I was like, how about I give you 9? I said, what have you done? You haven't done anything. How could you possibly move on to another job without actually accomplishing something for more than a cycle, to be able to see the effects on the things that you've done? So make sure if you change positions, you can point to 1 or 2 key things, key skills that you've picked up that you can articulate, expand upon, and share with that future employer so they know that you're actually doing things. You know? Does that help? Okay, good.
We just got this one, so we're gonna have to wrap it up there. But we'll step out in the hallway if you guys want to chat. We're around.
And just make sure you get good advice. There's difference between advice and good advice.
And there's lots of advice out there.
So
thanks,
thank
guys.
you guys.